So I did a thing. So far, I don't regret it like I did the first time that you guys heard about. Okay, here's the thing. The first time, they weren't supposed to be short bangs. They were supposed to be like curtain bangs. But I had done something wrong that was hard to come back from. And when I kept trying to fix it, there was no coming back from. So I only made it worse. Those were, I don't know what that was, but no mistakes were made this time. I just, you know, if you've ever gotten bangs, they feel like a good idea at the time. And either the next day when you wake up or the next week, you're thinking, what the hell did I do? They are high maintenance. They require maintenance for sure. But this is what happens when you've been sick in bed for like 6 days. You start to finally feel a little better. You go on it and play a Minecraft stream in your gaming channel. And you in the chat begin talking about bangs. And then they remind you that you saw 2 people with bangs recently. And like literally the night before. And you were already contemplating wanting bangs like them. So with the chat encouraging the conversation, let's just say pretty much as soon as I ended the stream, I went and grabbed my scissors, which I have like Paul Mitchell cutting shears for hair. I went to the bathroom and it was a touch and go situation. It's like I did a little bit, okay, then I did a little bit more. And then I like, you know, kept trying to make sure that I had a good progression, and I was at it for a good half hour, just like doing a little bit, coming back, testing it out, seeing how I felt, going back, cutting a little bit more, coming back, seeing how I felt. So this is it. Again, let's see how I feel tomorrow. Let's start with tomorrow. And then we'll see how I feel in a week. But week 3 of Nano has been interesting because, again, I have been sick with really bad migraines for on and off 6 days. Many theories on why and what it could be. So, yeah, didn't get much done, no. And I will update you guys on that more tomorrow. But for now, I had to share with you guys what I did. We'll see how it goes.
Good morning, Mojave.
Good morning. Question for the red cup. Would a white peppermint mocha count?
Yes.
Okay. Can I do a triple grande white peppermint mocha? It's crazy because it's my favorite time of year. And I feel completely numb to it. Let's talk about PCOS. So this flare-up has probably been months in the making. And symptoms were getting worse. I had noticed things, little things here and there. And it all just, I guess, came ahead recently and completely took me out. PCOS is a very complicated issue that domino effects into a slew of other issues. It's something that the medical world still doesn't fully understand or know much about. They have chalked it up to a few band-aid suggestions for treatments. It's the same it's been for 20, 30 years plus. And they kind of just wipe their hands with it. They give you a general idea of what to do, which is normally either they'll tell you take birth control, lose weight. Granted, PCOS doesn't only affect women who are struggling with their weight and are overweight. There are women who are underweight, struggling with their weight, and also have PCOS. So that blanket statement from the doctors and medical system is bull. The other thing they tell you to take is metformin, because they have at least come to understand that PCOS doesn't just affect your fertility and your ovaries. It causes insulin resistance in the body. PCOS messes with your hormones, creates a lot of androgens. There's a lot of symptoms and a lot of things, and because your hormones in your body and your reproductive system are all out of whack, you also have a chemical imbalance in your brain, and it causes depression and anxiety, and among other things. There's a lot when it comes to PCOS, and it makes it very difficult to live your day-to-day when the flare-ups are high. I have shown symptoms of PCOS since I was a teenager, like 12, 13 years old. Doctors never understood what to do. They just wanted to put me on birth control at that age and wipe their hands with it. That is a band-aid on a massive, like, organ failure. But let's put a little band-aid on it, that'll help. There's a lot, and I am not the right person or a professional to get into all the dynamics of PCOS. I can just talk about my experience with it, and currently things are difficult. When you are in a bad flare-up, you also struggle with things like insomnia. But here's the thing, you're exhausted, but you can't sleep. You sleep all day because you're exhausted, but then even when you do sleep, you wake up feeling as if you haven't slept at all, and you've been wired and up for over 24 hours. You know when you're so tired, have you ever tried to stay up for 24 hours? To stay awake, maybe to like reset your clock, or maybe for work purposes or whatever. You know how you get so tired, like it hurts to stay awake. Like your eyes hurt, your body like aches, like you physically cannot stay awake anymore, no matter how much you try. And that's what started happening recent weeks. I started getting this chronic fatigue that made it literally hurt to stay awake. So then by the time nighttime came, you would think, oh, you probably knock out. No. Suddenly, something chemically changes and shifts in your body, and now you feel exhausted, but you can't go to sleep. Even if you try, like not like insomnia where you entertain yourself to the wee hours of the night. No, like laying in bed, in the covers, turned over, trying to go to sleep, and hours later you're still awake. And then eventually what starts to happen is when you've struggled for so many days, of course your body starts shutting down on you. I get migraines. I get like deep muscle aches, like your bones ache sometimes. Everything's is not in a regular cycle. And then you get to this point where suddenly you become numb. This is probably the part I hate the most. You become numb because you've been so overwhelmed with guilt because you can't function. You get so overwhelmed with disappointing people who count on you. You get so overwhelmed with days passing and your responsibilities are just piling, and every day that you try to attack them, your body and your mind shut down on you, and one more day tacked on to being behind on things. You become numb that you probably should be having some type of emotional breakdown, but I feel like maybe your body and your mind are trying to protect you from that level of emotion. So you shut down and you become numb. And you get to a point where you just can't fight anymore. And so you finally give in. You stop fighting against it because the disappointment of losing that fight every day is overwhelming. So you give in to the numbness because the numbness creates this false security where you just let go. You let go of the expectations, you let go of the responsibilities, you let go of the disappointments, and you just shut down and you let it happen. Why am I even here talking about this? Because it was interesting how much it hit me, how numb I've gotten. We put up our Christmas tree. Well, I didn't put up because I was in my fog. My mom put up the Christmas tree. Literally, it's our favorite time of year. Like, we light up for this time of year. And I feel nothing. Like, if I felt anything right now, I'd probably be crying, but that's how numb I am. So I hate this stage of the process because it's this weird combination of like feeling like you're being robbed the enjoyment, and at the same time like you robbed yourself because you're not shaking out of it. So it's this dual fight of, it's my fault, I should have control to just snap out of it, and then the other part telling you, or you feeling, it's not my fault, I have no control of this and I hate it, but I don't know how to snap out of it. PCOS is very difficult to manage. There's no cure for it. There are tons of opinions of how to try to manage it, and a lot of those opinions are not wrong. But again, you know what you should do, but you just can't seem to do it or have the will to do it, which again spirals into self-hatred and guilt and shame and all those things. to fix it, or there's no fixing it, but to turn things around would require getting health insurance for once, but going through the process again of trying to find the right medical personnel who, one, actually know what the hell they're talking about, and two, genuinely give a shit. Those two are the hardest things to find in doctors who claim to know everything about the female reproductive system and hormone and mind and etc. Those two are the hardest things to find. A lot of condescending, arrogance you get dealt with, a lot of impatience of just quickly surface level examinations and results, and again, just put a band-aid, leave my office, give me the thousands of dollars you owe me for this visit. I have a list of things that I know I can try to start doing, and I hope to find the willpower to at least start. But all this to say that I've been MIA, and I want to apologize to my friends who haven't heard from me, to the people who count on me right now for things. I apologize. Chronic illnesses all look different, even when people are diagnosed the same. Nano completely just, it wasn't just the whole internal situation that happened within the NaNoWriMo community. I was already spiraling, I guess, so that just motivated me even more to just step away. I was also very busy trying to finish co-writing certain books with Tiffany. And it's crazy because I've scrolled TikTok like everyone else when you just kind of want to turn off your mind but have enough stimulation that you're distracted without any expectations on you to think or do or say anything. So it's that perfect numbness level where you're distracted enough but you're numb and not needing to do anything. And being someone with any type of chronic illness or health issue, living day-to-day life is hard, period. Being a creative person with health issues that affect not just you physically but mentally and emotionally, not fun, not easy. I'm picking at my cuticle skin right now just to give you an idea, because I'm sure I'm having it's weird because it's like I know anxiety is coursing through my veins, and yet to a certain degree I'm numb to it, but my body's still kind of reacting. But emotionally, I think I feel numb to it. This is very interesting. And I'm being raw and I'm being open about this because I know I'm not the only one. And if anything, in all my doom scrolling of TikTok the last few days while I laid in bed, when I started coming across other PCOS related content, and like the raw kind that was giving you a glimpse of what it's like, I am so grateful to have seen those, because I desperately needed to feel understood and seen and not crazy, piling on the guilt that this is all my fault and I should just snap out of it. Seeing random TikToks really helped just remind me that it's not me and that I'm not the only one and that other people out there also get it. And so who knows, maybe other writers, creatives out there may see this and be like, okay, it's not just me and I still get it. And maybe you need that as much as I needed it. It is hard to do the things you love when you are being controlled by whatever it is that has taken over your mind and body. It's hard wanting to accomplish big things that require little steps every day. My birthday's coming up too, which is also why December is my favorite month. I'd like to not feel like this by my birthday and Christmas and New Year's, but who knows? We'll see what happens. I don't even know how to end this. There are so many resources out there. Sadly, there's not a lot of concrete solutions. There are a lot of helpful suggestions of things that can be done. Managing PCOS is a long road. It's not an easy fix. And it requires like a complete lifestyle change, which is exhausting. I've done it multiple times throughout my life so far. The starting over, the changing everything to manage all the things, and it's exhausting. It's so hard. It's very tiring. You're on 24/7 to try to manage this shit. It requires a lot of willpower, which is ironic because your willpower is constantly being attacked inside, chemically, biologically, and you feel helpless against it. But at least we have to try, right? We can't just lay down and die. All I have is Taylor Swift, "This Is Me" trying in my head. Well, happy holidays, friends. I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you're getting stuff that you desire to get done. And if not, and you're struggling, I get it. I'm sorry. How I wish there was a way to help. But here's to us trying, right? One day at a time. Here's to us trying.